Breaking news. The air is thick with anticipation as the first rays of sunlight creep over the city. Something historic is unfolding. The Supreme Court has just delivered a stunning and absolute verdict, 9-0. In a rare moment of complete agreement, every justice has spoken as one. Never before has the highest court in the land spoken with such unity on an issue so vital to the nation's future. The impact is instant, reverberating far beyond these marble walls. The nation turns, wide-eyed, toward Washington. People from every walk of life are glued to their screens, waiting for answers. You can almost hear the echo of the gavel ringing down the marble halls, a sound that signals a new chapter in American history. Grown men and women rush out of the courthouse, mouths covered in shock. Reporters sprint to cameras, eager to share the news with a nation on edge. The news flashes. Across televisions, phones, and radios, a decision that will touch every corner of American life. America is awake, and the world is watching. The sun isn't even fully up. The city is still wrapped in the soft colors of dawn, but the energy is electric. But history, it seems, can't wait for daylight. Change is already in motion, unstoppable and undeniable. The decision lands with the weight of thunder, shaking more than just legal texts. It's shaking the very ground of our democracy. The foundations of law and society tremble with possibility. Even before the full text is released, one message is clear. This unanimous decision will change how we live, how we govern, and how we understand our rights. The ripple effects will be felt for generations. The nation holds its breath for what comes next. In this moment, everyone is united by uncertainty, hope, and the knowledge that history has just been made. It's just past dawn. The Supreme Court glows under golden sunlight. Every flag stands perfectly still. The crowd outside is tense. Some whisper, some pray, some just stare at the grand white steps. Inside, every seat is filled. Lawyers grip their notes. Clerks dart between heavy oak doors. The justices, in black robes, assemble with slow, careful steps. The only sound is the soft scrape of leather shoes against marble. Then bang, the gavel drops. It's a sound that silences everything, even the birds outside. Reporters lean forward, pens poised, breaths held. The Chief Justice's voice rings out. This court rules, unanimously, 9-0. A ripple runs through the room. No dissent, no wavering. The verdict is total. Tension breaks, replaced by a nervous electricity. What just happened? What does it mean? America and the world are about to find out. The Supreme Court is famous for close calls, 5-4 splits, fierce debates, divided opinions. But not today. Today, every justice stands together, 9-0. No room for doubt. No cracks in the wall. Why is this so rare? Because 9 people from different backgrounds, philosophies, and politics almost never agree completely. But this case is different. The stakes are so high, the issues so clear, that unity comes like a tidal wave. Legal scholars are already calling this the earthquake decision. It will be studied for decades. It will be remembered as the case that united the bench and redrew the legal map of America. Across the country, lawmakers, lawyers, and ordinary citizens scramble to understand the new rules. Overnight, decades of legal precedent have shifted. The weight of the ruling presses against every old assumption. Let's rewind for a moment and trace the path that led us here. This case started small, just one family, in one quiet town, filing a single lawsuit that would soon echo far beyond their community. It all began with a simple but powerful question about government power. How much authority can the state really have before it crosses a line? Can the government, even with the best intentions for safety, take away certain rights from its citizens? Where is the limit? The family argued passionately that a local law stripped them of basic freedoms they believed were protected by the Constitution. The town, on the other hand, insisted the law was necessary for the public good, to keep everyone safe and secure. The lower courts couldn't agree. One judge sided with the family, another with the town. Confusion and uncertainty spread throughout the community. Soon, people everywhere began to ask, who really decides where individual rights end and government authority begins? Is there a clear answer? The Supreme Court agreed to hear the case, and suddenly, the eyes of America were watching closely, waiting for answers. Everyone realized this was much more than a local dispute. It was a question that could affect every American. At its core, this case was about the very rules we live by, the invisible line between we the people and those who govern us, the foundation of our democracy. When arguments began in the highest court, the stakes were unmistakably high. The outcome would shape the nation's future. With a single decision, the Supreme Court could redefine what freedom means in the United States for generations to come. On one side of the courtroom, the family's lawyers stood and argued passionately, their voices echoing through the grand chamber. "Freedom means nothing if it can be taken away in the name of safety," they declared, their words resonating with urgency. "Today, it's our rights under threat. Tomorrow it could be anyone's," they warned, reminding everyone that no one is immune when rights are at stake. They used simple, relatable words, asking the justices to imagine if their own homes could be searched without warning, or if their speech could be silenced by a single order, or if their property could be taken away, just because someone claimed it was for the so-called common good. They argued that such power, unchecked, could be dangerous. The town's side, however, was no less urgent or compelling. Government must protect its people, their counsel insisted, emphasizing the responsibility to keep citizens safe from harm. Without some rules, there is chaos, they argued, painting a picture of what could happen if laws were too weak or unclear. They described the importance of public safety, the need for community order, and the challenges of responding quickly in times of crisis. They spoke of emergencies, moments when swift action can save lives and prevent disaster, insisting that some sacrifices are necessary for the greater good. The justices listened closely, weighing every word. They asked tough, probing questions, determined to understand every angle. Could the government go too far in its quest to protect? Could individual rights ever be truly absolute, or must there always be limits? In private, they searched for a delicate balance, a way to protect citizens from harm, without stripping away the very freedoms and principles that make America unique and free. In the end, both sides, despite their differences, agreed on one crucial point. The answer to this case would shape the country for generations to come. Everyone in that courtroom and beyond knew just how high the stakes truly were. What led 9 justices, liberal, conservative, moderate, to stand together? It was the clarity of the Constitution itself. Certain rights, the Chief Justice wrote, are so fundamental, so essential, that no law can erase them, even for safety's sake. They cited the Bill of Rights. "Government power is not a blank check," said another justice. "It has limits set by the people, for the people." The justices agreed. The law in question crossed that line. The government had gone too far. Their words were simple, powerful, and final. The Constitution is not just paper, it's a shield for every American. When that shield is threatened, every justice, no matter their differences, stands to defend it. That is why the vote was 9-0. The court sent a message. America's core freedoms are not up for debate. Not now, not ever. The ruling spreads like wildfire. Across America, similar laws fall overnight. Cities and states race to review their rules. Some officials celebrate. Others protest, but the law is the law, no exceptions. Legal experts fill the airwaves. This decision resets the balance of power, they explain. It limits what the government can do, even in a crisis. New lawsuits are filed within hours. People demand their rights back. Courts everywhere are flooded with fresh cases. For many, it means new freedom. For others, it's a warning to government: tread carefully or face the gavel. The message is sharp and clear. Rights are not gifts from government. They are guarantees. Take them away, and the people will fight back. In schools, city halls, and homes, Americans debate what the ruling means. The shockwaves have only begun. Politicians scramble to respond. Some call for new laws, others demand restraint. The president addresses the nation. We must respect the court's ruling. Our democracy depends on it. Congress is split. Some want to strengthen protections, others worry about chaos. On talk shows and social media, the debate explodes. People ask, what comes next? Will more rights be restored? Will government find new ways to protect public safety? Experts warn of a flood of new lawsuits, testing every corner of American law. Some towns change their laws overnight. Others dig in, vowing to fight. The legal system braces for years of battles. Citizens versus government, freedom versus order, new rules versus old habits. America stands at a crossroads. Every citizen, every community must now decide, how much power should government have? And how much freedom are we willing to protect? This 9-0 decision is more than a legal ruling. It's a turning point, a moment when the nation's highest court drew a bright, clear line in the sand. The Constitution is alive, the justices remind us, and it belongs to all of us. No one knows exactly what tomorrow will bring. New cases will rise, new debates will rage, new reforms will be born. But one fact is certain: Americans are now the guardians of their own freedom, more than ever before. So, as the courthouse doors close and the echo of the gavel fades, America stands taller, more alert, and more united. The next chapter will be written by the people, bold, uncertain, and free. The Supreme Court's 9-0 shock has changed history. The rest is up to us. As the news ripples from city halls to small towns, voices from every corner of America begin to rise. Teachers discuss the ruling in classrooms, parents talk about it at dinner tables, and students post their thoughts online. Some see hope for a fairer future. Others wrestle with uncertainty or skepticism. But everywhere, the conversation is alive. On social media, hashtags trend as people share stories of how the decision might shape their lives. Activists rally for the next cause, legal scholars break down what comes next, and ordinary citizens weigh in, sometimes anxious, sometimes inspired. The ruling has sparked a collective reflection on what justice means and who gets to define it. This moment isn't just about the Supreme Court. It's about the millions of Americans now engaging in democracy, debating, questioning, and imagining new possibilities. The ruling has ended one chapter, but it has opened countless others, each written in the voices of a nation awakened. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. The story of American freedom is not finished. It is being written right now by all of us. Across newsrooms and living rooms alike, the impact of the decision continues to unfold. In the hours after the ruling, major networks bring in constitutional experts and historians to explain its significance. Legal analysts dissect the court's language, highlighting nuances that could shape future cases. Some call it a landmark for civil rights. Others warn of unintended consequences and lingering questions. Meanwhile, in public squares and online forums, Americans digest the news in real time. Interviews capture a mosaic of reactions: relief from those who see justice served, worry from those who fear new uncertainties, and curiosity from many still seeking to understand what it all means. Town hall meetings fill with passionate voices, some celebrating, others voicing concern or demanding more. Editorials appear in newspapers nationwide, offering both praise and critique. Podcasts and radio shows invite callers to share their perspectives, revealing just how deeply this moment resonates. From scholars to everyday citizens, a national conversation is underway, one that will shape not just the headlines, but the country's path forward. As America processes this historic decision, one thing is certain: its echoes will be heard for years to come, in law, in politics, and in the hearts of the people. As the dust settles, the true scope of the Supreme Court's decision begins to take shape, not just in headlines, but in the undercurrents of American law and politics. Legal scholars predict that this ruling will serve as a powerful precedent, cited in courtrooms across the country for years to come. Future cases may hinge on the language and logic used here, guiding how judges interpret rights, responsibilities, and the boundaries of government power. Politically, the decision could redraw battle lines. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are already drafting new bills in response, seeking either to reinforce the court's stance or to challenge its reach. Campaigns gear up, using the ruling as a rallying cry to energize supporters and frame the next election. State governments, too, may test the limits of the decision, passing laws that probe its boundaries. Beyond the legal and political arenas, advocacy groups see new opportunities and new obstacles. Some hope to expand the ruling's impact, while others prepare for fresh legal fights. Meanwhile, ordinary Americans might notice changes in their everyday lives, from shifts in local policies to the tone of national debates. As the first ripples of this historic moment move outward, one thing is clear. The conversation is far from over. The decision's influence will be measured not just in statutes and courtrooms, but in the evolving story of American democracy itself. The road ahead is uncertain, but its course has been forever altered. As America grapples with the aftermath of the Supreme Court's decision, the world is watching closely. Headlines from London to Tokyo analyze the ruling, with foreign leaders and legal experts weighing in on its significance. In Europe, some commentators draw parallels to landmark decisions by the European Court of Human Rights, noting both the similarities and stark contrasts in legal philosophies. In Canada and Australia, constitutional scholars debate whether their own high courts might face similar questions and how their systems would respond. Meanwhile, activists and policymakers in countries with ongoing debates over civil rights and governmental powers look to the U.S. as both a warning and an inspiration. Some praise the clarity and unity of the court's 9-0 decision, while others caution against adopting a one-size-fits-all approach to complex social issues. International legal forums spark conversations about precedent, sovereignty, and the global ripple effects of American jurisprudence. Even beyond official channels, social media lights up with opinions, memes, and solidarity campaigns. Protesters rally in front of U.S. embassies in major cities, while editorial pages in global newspapers urge their own governments to reflect on what this moment means for democracy worldwide. Through it all, America's ruling becomes part of a broader, ongoing dialogue. A reminder that in an interconnected world, the decisions of one nation can echo far beyond its borders, shaping conversations and policies in places near and far. As the world reacts and the dust begins to settle, America stands at a crossroads. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision isn't just a moment in history. It's a catalyst for change, a mirror reflecting the nation's values, struggles, and hopes. For some, the ruling brings a sense of resolution. For others, a renewed determination to keep fighting for what they believe in. But one thing is certain, the story doesn't end here. Across city halls, classrooms, and kitchen tables, Americans are wrestling with what this decision means for their rights, their communities, and their future. Lawmakers consider new paths forward. Activists regroup. Ordinary citizens, inspired or unsettled, find their voices and join the conversation. This chapter in America's story is both an ending and a beginning. The choices made now will shape not only the laws on the books, but the bonds that hold the nation together. In the face of uncertainty, the promise of democracy endures, a reminder that history is written not just by the powerful, but by everyone willing to engage, to listen, and to dream of a better tomorrow. As America moves forward, one question remains: how will we rise to meet the challenges ahead? The answer, as always, will be found in the actions, debates, and hopes of the people themselves. The next page is unwritten, and it belongs to all of us. As the echoes of the Supreme Court's 9-0 decision reverberate through the nation, a new chapter begins, one that invites every American to take part. History isn't just a story told in textbooks or courtrooms. It's the sum of countless individual choices, voices, and dreams. Now, more than ever, the next steps belong to you. Will you engage in dialogue with those who see the world differently? Will you advocate for causes close to your heart, or listen to new perspectives that challenge your own? In communities large and small, in online forums and neighborhood meetings, the spirit of democracy depends on participation. Each vote cast, every conversation started, every act of empathy or courage adds a brushstroke to the nation's canvas. Today's turning point is tomorrow's legacy, and it's shaped by ordinary people who refuse to be silent or still. So, as the headlines fade and new stories emerge, remember, the future is not predetermined. It's written by citizens like you, who choose hope over fear, action over apathy, and unity over division. The next chapter is unwritten. What will you contribute to America's story?